Africa has to sit on that EU Security Council. We cannot be talking about the same thing over and over. Please pass messages to your capitals that the world has changed. The composition of the countries of the world has changed from 1945 and beyond to now. Most of our countries were not independent then, and so we were excluded. We are now here. Africa has to sit at the table where security issues are discussed. You really can't be talking about Africa without us. How do you hear our circumstances and considerations, issues? How do you decide for us on your own? That should be taken seriously. The Ezulwini consensus must be taken seriously, colleagues. So please pass, I know you do your diplomatic notes every now and then. Just a humble, we're not fractious about it. We are making a core that is genuine. And we can't continue making the same codeine for years and years. And there's no response. What does that mean? It means others have shut their ears to genuine concerns. So can we address those even amongst yourselves when you sit as ambassadors? Let me talk about regional and global relations. We're working as part of the African team countries on the anti-personnel mine and anti-personnel mine ban on treaty that we have acceded to. Actually, Zambia served as the 2025 president, and we're committed to clearance of landmines on our continent and, of course, in the other parts of the world. And that's why we don't need conflict. We don't need conflict. What we need is development, colleagues. We don't need conflict. And so on the African Union, we're very active. Zambia is very active. And peace, security, stability. We're concerned about Eastern DRC. You all know that. We're concerned about many of our countries where there are trouble spots because we believe that instability anywhere is instability everywhere. Because it does affect us. And we talk of working together more. There's no question about that. We all know now, even global conflicts away from the African continent affect all of us through trade, through migration, unnecessary migration, and added costs, and so many things. So I really think that we need to continue working together there. We're looking ahead to before I say that, this country, we're involved on the African continent in the reform of the African Union. Actually, after this meeting, I have a meeting, President Ruto and a few of our colleagues who are tasked to look at the reform of the African Union itself. We cannot be talking about reforms in our individual countries when the body that that brings together is not reforming. So I'm here to say that we are concerned about some of the things that we do on the continent, and we're working together to look at how we can reform the African Union. Obviously, that also means reforms in the regional bodies, SADC, East African Community, West African Community, North Africa. I think those are the building blocks. But for us as a nation, we're driving reforms. So we're also saying we need reforms in SADC, we need reforms at the AU level, so that we can have complementarity. We can have convergence of what we call common things that need to be done across the continent. So, Kenyan High Commissioner, we have a session this morning. President Ruto is chairing that session. So that includes the issues around touching on the global financial reform architecture, especially the issue around the cost of capital that Africa has to pay more than any other continent. We're not happy about that. It's not the right business thing to do. So we want Africa to be treated the same with regard to the cost of capital, the pricing of this commodity called capital. And there's no reason that the same business, same sector, elsewhere they pay less, we pay more in Africa. Then in the end we say Africa is inefficient. I don't agree with that. We don't agree with that. Because part of those costs are driven by the cost of capital. So these are the sort of issues that we're talking about. And we would like to expand this area, as I talked about trade and investment together. But if we are injecting a higher cost of doing business in Africa, which is really brought on to us through the structuring of the cost of capital, we need to address that. We want to see more volumes, more higher turnovers, and work more on volumes than margins. I think the margins, the spread is too much. So I'm just giving you a test of some of the things that we're doing. As you know, that this president is Africa champion in Corella, and on a number of things. So Zambia is extremely active. This country, since we took office, has come back into the League of Nations. We had withdrawn quite a lot, but the country is now back in the League of Decent Nations. So I thought I should use this opportunity to indicate that. We are pushing very hard Africa Free Trade Area. And let me remind you seated in here, Africa talking about doing business with itself does not mean we are going to exclude yourselves. We just want to work more with each other, naturally. And then we'll be a better team to work with yourselves, right? We will attract bigger capital tickets when Africa is working with itself first. So I see some of you may think that this is an attempt to extricate Africa from the rest of you. Not at all. Africa will be better when it's more organized within itself. Currently we're the continent that does the least trade with itself. That's a crime. And the leaders of this continent now recognize that. And I think it's important that we address it. In my view, it will overall improve even the risk profiling of this continent when we do things correctly in that way. So I think if I move quickly to the Great Lakes region, we're very supportive of the peace efforts in there. First ourselves, first time, 2025, first time, two regional bodies came together to form a joint team to work on the Eastern DRC conflict. East African Community and SADC, we created a joint team, and we will continue doing that. But we also appreciate the work of others, Qatar, the US, seeking peace for Eastern DRC and other trouble spots. We know what's going on in Sudan there, not good at all. And we will continue seeking the support of first ourselves, countries, but also yourselves in the overall architecture of peace and stability in the world, which is good for development. SADC, I already mentioned, peace efforts, sister country, Mozambique, peace efforts in Eastern DRC. Zambia has remained very active, first chairing the Troika in the SADC. We chaired the Troika in SADC. And in August, our colleagues, presidents have elected this president that will take over the chair of SADC, August 2026. We'll be taking over the chairmanship of SADC from President Ramaphosa, following the unfortunate issues in Madagascar, which accelerated the processes, because I should have come in, according to my colleagues, in 2027, but now President Ramaphosa had to come in earlier, and then myself taking over from him much earlier. Just to keep you informed, for the SADC colleagues that are seated in this room, and we look forward to working together to maintain peace, security, stability in our region, but more so to invest with each other and in each other's economies. And we will be pushing that agenda. You can be sure of that. We will be pushing that joint investment agenda as we assume that responsibility. COMESA, obviously, we continue being active. We are the host in terms of secretariat. We work to consolidate COMESA. You cannot have an Africa Free Trade Area if COMESA is not consolidating. If SADC, if East African Community, ECOWAS, North African communities, and because these are the building blocks. So we cannot do that. So we're working on this sort of frame, getting to the Africa Free Trade Area. So we want to continue our efforts to get on the new headquarters of COMESA, and your support will be appreciated. The European Union, thank you very much for your support. We're very happy that we are now getting into the project stage, transaction stage. As you know, one of my first stops following my ascension to the president was to make a presentation at the European Union Parliament. And we talked things there. Now those things are maturing, such as what? Thank you for your support with the Zambia Airways rehabilitation. Thank you for your support in the Lobito corridor, very important to us, and obviously tying to the Tazara rehabilitation. Thank you for the colleagues in China for their support on Tazara. So Europe, France, Italy. Italian ambassador, is he here? Thank you for what the Prime Minister is doing there and her focus on the Matei plan and the support for the Lobito corridor. We're very grateful for that. And obviously the US support on the Lobito corridor as well. We would like to see more traction in 2026. We've been talking a lot. We now need to get on the ground to do transactions and projects for the Lobito corridor, Tazara, of course, then the Zambia Railways. So given our land-linked nature, we're very pleased that for the first time in the history of this country, we have 3 railway systems being worked on. It's tremendous for us. Lobito corridor, Angolan colleague, you're here. Bondi. And we're very happy with that. Then the Tazara, very happy. Nihao, very happy. Then obviously the Zambia Railways. Thank you, EU. We really appreciate it. But you'll be happy to know that now the Lobito corridor interest has extended beyond Angola. Congo DR, where's the Congo ambassador? Is he here? Thank you. And Zambia is 3 primary countries, but now we're drawing in Tanzania. Is the Tanzanian ambassador, High Commissioner? Tanzania, Mozambique is coming through because of the Nakala corridor, all of that stuff. It's very, very exciting times. I stand here and say to the people of Zambia, this is one of the most exciting times that this country has found itself in for years and years because of the things that we are doing, and if we do them properly, what they mean to our economies, not just Zambia, but DRC, Angola, Mozambique, Tanzania, and Malawi, as it were, and Botswana, Namibia. We're doing quite a couple of things with Botswana and Namibia around there. I think Botswana colleague is there. Namibian High Commissioner, where is? There you are. Botswana, where is he? He's not here. All right. Tumerama. So we're very happy with that kind of stuff. So let's continue working together in those areas. Just a little bit to touch again, the global gateway for the EU, very, very important to us. Around there's a broader, higher level, and obviously Lobito is a subset of the gateway, the global gateway. So we're excited about those opportunities, and we want to push them harder beyond 2025, what we did in 2025. And so as I look at you, I'm looking at all the EU ambassadors collectively together. Please, I'm not ignoring the good bilateral discussions we've been having inside the EU, yes, with the EU, but also, yes, with the individual countries, the things that we're doing together. We appreciate all of us. Yeah. Chairman Ambassador, we were just chatting a few days ago. Once more, welcome. German, Namibia, Ghana. Where is my sister from Ghana? Yeah, thank you. Good to see you. Yeah, good to see you. Great. Multilateral engagements. We're seeking the support of all of you on the UN Security Council. Africa has to sit on that EU Security Council. We cannot be talking about the same thing over and over. Please pass messages to your capitals that the world has changed. The composition of the countries of the world has changed from 1945 and beyond to now. Most of our countries were not independent then, and so we were excluded. We are now here. Africa has to sit at the table where security issues are discussed. You really can't be talking about Africa without us. How do you hear our circumstances and considerations, issues? How do you decide for us on your own? That should be taken seriously. The Ezulwin consensus must be taken seriously, colleagues. So please pass, I know you do your diplomatic notes every now and then. Just a humble, we're not fractious about it. We are making a core that is genuine. And we can't continue making the same codeine for years and years. And there's no response. What does that mean? It means others have shut their ears to genuine concerns. So can we address those even amongst yourselves when you sit as ambassadors? Yeah, thank you very much. The issue of overall UN reforms, very committed to that, as you know. Zambia sits as part of the Council of Reforms under the AU C10 reforms. There's a group we have in Africa on the AU of C10, which interacts with the UN on the broader UN reforms. and Zambia sits on that C10 committee, and we will continue to engage with yourselves. We're committed to the SDGs, no question about it. If you see the Zambia reforms and the program of reforms, the IMF, you will see a lot of the SDGs in there. It's very important that we recommitted to the SDGs. Climate action, very important to us. Very, very important, and we continue being committed on that. Development financing, I've already touched on that. Lastly, I want to say that I know there is anxiety, but I want to assure you that in 2026, there will be credible, peaceful, and transparent elections. There will be credible, peaceful, and transparent elections. I'm sure you are following what's happening in by-elections. Who wins does not matter. But the process allows the opposition to win, allows the ruling party to win. There's an election in Kasama today. Whoever wins, democracy wins. And we had elections in Chawama. Most of you are not aware, may not be aware, that Chawama was a source of panga politics in this country. The pangas in politics were born in a constituency called Chawama and Lusaka. Prosperity. Two-way trade and investment, not one way. I think that should be the new order. Two-way routing. I do believe I speak for other African presidents because I sit with them. We talk. And so I want to believe I speak for some of them. Not all, but for some of them. Let me end by thanking you so much. Merci beaucoup.